Did you know that some phrasal verbs mean one thing in the UK and something completely different in the US? In today's video, I'm joined by Amber and Josh from YGO Friends English, and we're going to explore some phrasal verbs that might just confuse you, depending on where you're learning English. Let's get started. Okay, so would you guys like to just introduce yourselves?
Yes, we are Josh and Amber Williams. We are from the channel called YGO Friends English, which is actually a Chinese expression meaning foreign friends English. We actually have done a lot of phrasal verb stuff on our channel, and we have had decades of English teaching experience.
Yep.
I guess you can say we've also lived in China.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we've been through the struggle of living abroad and trying to learn the language while you're there. We lived in China for 4 years trying to learn it as we went. And one of the biggest challenges in any language that we have found as teachers is phrasal verbs. And there are differences between British English and American English. And so even though there's many similarities, there's also some very important differences. So we're going to go over some of those today.
Awesome. Okay, let's get into it. So the first phrasal verb I want to talk about today is the phrasal verb go off. So in British English, if something goes off, like we use this, actually there are several ways. One of them is to talk about food that has passed its best. So for example, if the milk has gone off, you don't want to drink it. It smells bad and, like, bleh, don't touch it. Do you guys use go off in that way as well?
No, we don't. So when we say something goes bad, we use the synonyms like expire or went bad. We would say that, but we don't say go off. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so we associate it with somebody just losing their marbles on somebody.
Oh, yeah.
They just go into a rant and screaming at them or something. They just went off like an explosion.
Yeah,
that's kind of
okay.
Like they explode on that person. So like an example sentence would be like, man, he just went off at me. I have no idea why.
Or went off
on me.
Yes.
Cool. Yeah, we do actually use go off for the explosion. So yeah, the bomb went off and destroyed the building, for example. And then I guess kind of similar to that with an alarm or something, the fire alarm went off and we all had to evacuate the building.
Yeah, we can do that too.
Yeah, we have that one for our alarm. My alarm goes off every morning at a certain time.
Make sure it doesn't go off too early.
Or the baby goes off. That's my alarm.
And just thinking about the US use of go off, we don't use that in the UK. We would say, I don't know, and he just went mad, probably, or possibly blew up. He just blew up. Although, to be honest, that might be one that's kind of more American, but has come over with US television, a bit more adopted. But we do say to go off on one when someone is just ranting about something.
Yeah, like a soapbox, standing on their soapbox about.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's a good way to do it. That it's more tied to the physical meaning to go off.
Yes, yeah.
I like it because I could see it, but if I said that to an American, I don't know if they'd follow me because we really like to say they went off they took a rabbit trail, or they just went off talking on the rabbit trail. And see, I'm gonna keep saying went off.
Got off
go
topic.
Off, we wouldn't say necessarily.
We could say got off topic.
Yeah. But to say go off, we don't really use it that much that way.
Really.
I like it though.
That's fascinating.
It makes sense.
Yeah. It's interesting. So the next one I want to talk about is get on. So, I think I'm probably right in thinking that we both use it to say we get on transport, we get on a bus, for example.
Yes, and it has to be bigger. Like you don't get on a taxi, right? You get on a bus or a plane or a ship.
Yeah, train.
Something big. Yeah, something really big. Yeah. But could we say it? Get on a hot air balloon? I guess we could.
get on the hot air balloon. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, because it's big, right? I'm trying to think of how small can we go? Can we get on a van? No.
No.
We can't get on.
No. Like some actually a student, Oscar, if you're watching, thanks for the tip. Um, Oscar said to me that he heard it, I guess, from an English teacher he had, that if you can stand up on said transport in it, I guess, then you say get on. And if you can't stand up, you would get in, like a car or a taxi. Helicopter's a funny one because it depends on the size, I guess.
Yeah. Well, we would always say get on, but
Get on the helicopter.
well,
Get
I
in the
guess you could get
helicopter.
in
Oh,
if
that
it's
was a
all
good one.
closed around you, right? So get on would be like those open-sided ones, like the tourism ones. But if you're getting into like a medical one, you'd be getting into it because it closes around you.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe it's something to do with standing and something to do with like being totally surrounded.
Yeah. It's a good. I like that rule.
I like that rule. A merry-go-round, you would get on.
Get on the merry-go-round. Yeah.
You also get on a swing.
Mm.
Right? Do you get on a swing? I would assume so.
I would get on a swing.
Yeah. Wow.
But in British English, you have the other way of saying like having friends, right?
Yes.
Like you get on, like, do you have to say like get on well with them? Do you have to have the adjective afterwards, or can you just say we get on?
Well, you can just say we get on. I guess if you want to add, like, it just adds a little extra emphasis if you say well. Like I often say, oh yeah, I get on well with my brothers. And yeah, I get on with him. I get on with her. Yeah, adding the well just makes it a little bit more, I would say, a bit stronger.
Yeah. Get on with someone.
See,
How do you get on?
It reminds me of get along, and specifically get along with. Like we say that definitely in America to say like, yeah, we get along well with each other, or we get along
with
one another. But it's funny how get on is just. It's probably because like in American English, like the potential misunderstanding of like get on the box, and so it's like the physical is like
get on.
I got on my brother. It's like,
I'm
okay,
picturing that now.
Yeah, like I just monkey
I
climbed onto his
mounted
back.
him.
Probably that's one reason why we shy away from it. So when we hear it in British English, we're like, oh, okay, that's interesting. But for us, we have to use another along, which is not a very common preposition to use to have that kind of different meaning difference.
We mostly use it with along, either going alongside something, right? Like you walk parallel to something, you go along it, but then you can also get along with someone. So those are the two main ways we would use along.
Yeah.
But anyway, get on. It's a good one. I like it. It's very British to me. It sounds very British to me to say to get on with someone.
And if you have the preposition there, get on with, we also use that get on with it, like with your work. Get on with your work.
Yes, I do believe that one has come over as well through British TV, like in our case, because it's something that I definitely hear.
Yeah,
we do say that one.
Yeah.
And in fact, we do in England, we do also say get along with, but it's less common. And I think that again has probably come across with TV. In fact, I find there's increasingly a blend in the UK, certainly, and I don't know, maybe I'm wrong about this, but my theory is that the blend is stronger in the UK than the US, because I think we watch more US television than you guys would watch British TV.
Yeah. With the exception of Downton Abbey, but yeah.
Love Downton Abbey. Now let's talk about carry on. The whole world knows that famous, keep calm and carry on, that famous British thing from, I guess that was a First or Second World War thing. So we use carry on to continue. Carry on, keep going, carry on with your work.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think of like a person saying carry on, like as a command, carry on, as a keep going. Keep
Yeah, it definitely came over from British English. I'm thinking we can also use it for somebody just carrying on and on and on with their words. Like just
Mm.
speaking, they're persisting with whatever they want to say, regardless of whether anybody's listening. So they just keep carrying on and on.
Oh yeah.
And we tend to say on and on with that. We can also say droned on and on. We could say like pushed on. He kept pushing for whatever his agenda was, but then carrying on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And usually if we say carry on, it seems like it has like a very negative connotation.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Well, I was just
Not
thinking,
just pushy, but
well, how do we do the noun of a person that has like this like bad situations? How would we say that? Carryings on? I thought I could have sworn I heard like somebody was saying one day like the carryings on or the things that are going on right now.
oh, the goings on.
Maybe the goings on.
Yeah, the goings on. We'll say that. Yeah. But I don't know. I'm sure somebody messed with it, like
Okay.
creative license. But I wouldn't say it's a normal term to do it that way. The goings on, though, that's common. I've heard that quite a bit.
Yeah, I was actually thinking like we wouldn't tend to use carrying on in that context, like stop carrying on, but we would say go on. It's just when someone is droning on or just talking, stop going on or stop going on about that. Nobody cares, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And also rabbiting on in that context.
Rabbiting on, that is so good.
Yeah, rabbiting on, talking at length about a topic in which nobody else is really interested.
Oh man, that is
I
so
love that.
good.
Well, he's adopting that now. For
Yeah,
sure.
I am.
I love that.
And all my American friends are going to be like, "What are you talking about?" And they'll say, "You're meaning going on a rabbit trail. That's what you mean." And it's like, no, rabbiting on.
Rabbiting on, my friend, rabbiting on. So the next one I want to talk about, well, actually kind of two together. It's take out and take away. So in the UK, when we talk about ordering food from a restaurant, we would say take away. Would be a noun, let's get takeaway. But if you call up, again, that would be the noun, they would say eat in or take away. Well, no, actually, that is the verb because it's like, do you want to eat in or do you want to take away?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, see, we would say take out. What is it that we say in that case?
Do you want to
dine in or dine out?
Dine in or
when they give you the option, they say, do you want to dine in or dine out?
Mm.
And then you would order your takeout if you're going to dine out.
It's funny too because takeaway for me seems like a very like probably because of a childhood trauma or whatever, but it sounds like it's like taking away your toys from your like. So when I hear like takeaway, it's like we get to like steal their food. Like that's what they're do you want to take away? Like yes, please, and I will not pay for it.
Oh my gosh.
It does kind of have that because like if you take something out of something, it's kind of like it implies it's in a box, right? So you're taking something out of the fridge. But then if you take away something, we don't take away things from the fridge, we take away things from people or animals
or something that should kind of be there.
Or take away from like this bigger place, like a store, I guess.
Like if our kids have like two groups of toys and one of our kids grabs one of the others, we'd say, don't take away from her pile. Don't take away from her blocks.
Right.
You already have your own blocks.
But it's in the open, right? So that's kind of the idea. Would you have that distinguishing difference between things that are inside something to take out?
Yes, we would. Yeah. Take it out of the box. Take the toys out of the box. And take away with a thing. It would be, let's take that away, like kind of get it out of my sight. It's almost quite negative. Or with a prisoner, take him away, you know.
Yes, we do the same.
Yeah.
What about with money? To take something out of a bank, we would say take out money or withdraw money or draw money out. We would also take out money. All of those work perfectly fine.
Would you take away money from a bank? Please say yes. Oh man.
We would actually, we'd say take out in that case. I need to take out some cash.
There we go. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, we can't take away from it.
Yeah, too bad.
Do we use different words? I think we do I tend to say ATM, but that's because I live in Spain and it's just, the ATM. But in England, it's the cash machine. Usually I need to go to a cash machine.
That's so funny.
So you guys wouldn't call it a cash machine?
No, we would always say ATM.
Yeah.
And definitely not a hole in the wall.
No, not a
No,
hole in the
no.
wall. I mean, both of those sound like very strange places to get money from. Like, I'm gonna go to the cash machine. It's just printing out money, so I just can go over there.
Only worked that way.
I love that.
Yes.
Let's see. Is there anything else with takeout or takeaway that we use?
Well, I would say takeaway that we almost always use from, take away from something.
Like you can take away
Maths.
like knowledge thing.
Math.
Oh,
Yeah, do take away for math. Normally, we don't actually like that. We normally say subtraction or minus, but we very rarely say we're going to do some takeaways, meaning we're going to do subtraction. Or very rarely does that happen.
But you can take away knowledge from something. Like,
Yeah.
what did I walk away with from that?
Oh,
speech
like
I
what's the
took away?
takeaway?
Yeah, what's the takeaway?
For sure. From a meeting, particularly, or what did you take away from that kind of? Yeah, what did you learn?
Yeah. That's quite common. But to take out, if we use anything like what did you take away from the conference, you could say like I picked out certain things. Like there were certain bits of knowledge that I picked out for my career development or something like that. That's always pick out. We wouldn't say take out in that case even. Yeah.
Ooh, would you take someone out, like kill them?
Oh
Yes,
yeah, definitely.
That's a common one, especially in video games.
Or you can take someone out to eat.
Oh, that's true.
So we have this very punny thing where it's like a person will say like, "I'm gonna take you out," and they're like, "Really?" And they're like, "Yeah, to dinner, Tuesday, 6 p.m. Be there." And so
it's a joke, yeah.
Classic joke.
Can you use both as well? Take out for
like a
food?
Date. Yes, yeah, we can. Yeah, I'm taking, and I was just thinking about dating, but it's not just, I mean, the implication if you take someone out, I guess, is that you are then going to pay. So, like, if I said my friend took me out for dinner, then that would mean that she paid.
Right.
What about going out? This was a high school phrasal verb that we used to use of like, oh, they're going out. And it's like, oh, that means they're dating.
Yeah. I wonder if they still use that, because I'm aware that I'm now in my 40s and perhaps the way that young people talk about dating has changed.
Yeah. I mean, we're in our 30s and we're always like, no, things are different now. They say things very different.
Well, like one of a phrasal verb is, well, no, it's just a preposition, but it's more of a collocation that Amber is like, yeah, we probably shouldn't say that anymore. Is into her or into him. Like she's into him, meaning that she's interested in him.
Yeah.
But you would say like, oh yeah, and you could say it not only for dating, but also for interests. Like I'm really into airplanes, model airplanes, meaning I'm really interested in model airplanes, but I didn't know if that also communicated across the pond.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, in fact, I think I included this in it was an email. I send out a weekly newsletter and I mentioned something about I'm not into cooking. In my new flat, the kitchen is tiny. Apartment for US viewers, in my new flat, it's so small. But that doesn't matter because I'm not really into cooking. So
Good. Yeah.
It's not my cup of tea, which I guess you don't say.
No, we actually do, but but not like normally. But because our cups of tea are like this big in America and the South.
We do use it, but it definitely is intentionally British. We intentionally use a British thing in that case.
Okay.
Yeah. It's funny the things that have come over or gone over there. Like, I don't know. This is just fascinating. So can you take someone out to take away? Like, is that a phrase you could use?
What?
To take for takeaway.
No, I know what you mean.
Take someone out for takeaway.
You would see what the goal is. You go on a date with a person, but then you
walk in the park or something. I don't know if you can eat in parks.
Well, yeah, you can. Unless I'm breaking the law, I think you can eat in parks. You can't drink alcohol in parks, but you can eat and you can, So I guess, yes, I mean, why not? You could take someone out for takeaway. You get you a takeaway food, go to the park, sit on a bench.
Yeah. Oh, see, that's so fascinating. Yeah. Here it would be take somebody away from something to take them out.
Oh my
So take them away from work to take them out to eat. I'm trying to think of the logic of stringing these together in one sentence.
I'm going to take you out for takeaway. Okay, cool. Please don't take me out. Like,
Yeah, please don't kill me. Please.
So our next one is pop out. We use this a lot in the UK. If you pop out, you go out for a short time. Or if you pop to a place, then you go there for a short amount of time. Like, I'm just popping to the shops. I'll be back, in half an hour. Or I'm just popping out, but I won't be long.
Yeah, that one has arrived here, but we don't say popping to. You can't pop to something. You can pop out for a bit. You can pop over.
Specifically to somebody's house, like if you pop over.
Somebody nearby, pop over to the neighbors real quick. That can be said, but it definitely sounds very British because that's where it's come from.
Yeah, I would say we kind of know that it's British influence.
We can also use it kind of crudely. Like for example, if somebody has a lot of kids, we could say, wow, they're just popping them out really fast.
Goodness gracious.
But that's what I'm thinking, like, how would Americans use it? We use it in that sense to say something happening quite fast.
Yeah.
And so you're having kids, or like you have this cat that just keeps having kittens or something. Like, it's a really common way to use it, right?
It definitely comes from another idiom, which I don't know. Some people will crudely and jokingly say, like, wow, you're about to pop, meaning you're about to have a baby. So
you're about to have a baby. Yeah, that's where it comes from.
Yeah.
You can pop open a bag of chips or something like that.
Pop open, yeah.
You can pop things open. Pop open the hatch. Things like that. You can pop in on somebody.
Yeah.
Can you say pop in to visit?
Yeah, I'm going to pop in. Again, it would indicate a short visit, probably. Like, you wouldn't pop in for dinner or pop round for dinner. You might pop round for a coffee or pop in or pop over.
Yeah, see,
I love that. I love the pop
around,
round, because we definitely wouldn't. We don't like. I don't know why we don't shorten around, right? We always say around. We have to have the schwa in there. So if we say pop round, like immediately we hear British in our head.
Okay. Yeah. But would you pop around like to somebody's
No,
house?
we still wouldn't do that. So, but if you're like, I like to be around my family, you would never say, I like to be around my family.
I like to be around.
Right.
I like to be around. I would say around too, actually, in that case. Like, I would like to be around in the same environment as somebody. I wouldn't say round in that case.
But maybe just the pop kind of has a more like collocation kind of feel to it, where it says pop round.
Or, I mean, there are a few where we would shorten it with phrasal verbs, like pop round, come round as well, or go round, like come round to my house, or I'll go round to yours, or something like that, or to get round or around to doing something, like to finally find the time to do something.
What if it was a command? Like if you're talking to a child who's not listening or something, and you're saying, go around the car. Would you say, go round the car? Or would you stop for a moment and pronunciate and enunciate clearer to say, go around the car?
In that case, I would say, I think if I were using around, go around the car, go around the car. Go around, because I was about to say that if I were talking about kind of encircling something, then I would use around and not round. But actually, I'm not sure that that's true, because I would say go round the bend or go round the corner, not necessarily go around the corner. I think I would lean more towards round than around.
That's so cool.
Okay.
Speaking of British English, I have one called that I've heard of, but I've never used in my life, which is FAFF ABOUT.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
I have never
around also. Around about. Yeah.
Faffing around, faffing about. That's so funny to us.
Yeah, if you faff around or faff about, you are basically kind of wasting time. You're not being productive. Like, come on, stop faffing around. We need to leave. Stop doing whatever it is that you're fannying around, we say too, in that instance. I don't know if you say that. Stop fannying around.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah, no, we don't have that either of those. We say goofing off or messing around.
Cutting up sometimes.
Cutting up, that's a newer one. Yep.
That's a very Southern American English phrase to say, stop cutting up. Let's get serious.
Yeah.
Let's do the job.
I thought that goofing off was if you were like skiving. So you're meant to be at work, but you're goofing off. Like you've basically called in sick or something.
Right.
Oh.
It definitely implies you're supposed to be doing something, but you're not.
Yeah.
So, but kids, it doesn't imply like you have to be at work, but goofing off could also be a group of guys like goofing off, like just hanging out.
Yeah,
and being silly.
It doesn't have to be negative. But I have a question. What's skiving?
I guess that's a peculiarly British word as well. If you're skiving, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, and typically with either education or work. So, like, for example, I'm brutally hungover, so I'm skiving. I called in sick. I'm not going to work. Like,
Goodness.
So it's like skating.
Or hanging out my ass would be how you would naturally say, I'm hanging out my ass. I'm not going to.
That is so funny. We would never say either one of those phrases. That is awesome.
What would we say? Skating?
Playing hooky?
Playing hooky.
Playing
Yeah.
hooky. See, we used to say playing truant, but that is like Enid Blyton old school. Nobody would say that nowadays. You'd say skiving or I'm skiving.
Calling in.
Yeah, calling in or calling off, but that we can also use that more seriously.
Oh, like you would say, like, I feel sick, so I'm going to call into work today.
Right, but that doesn't imply that you're like actually just being lazy at all.
Maybe you had a reason.
Yeah, you have a reason for that case.
Skating by is another one, but that means that you're doing something. You're just not doing it very intentionally. It's just kind of like
you're doing the bare minimum.
You go to school and you show a movie because you're hungover instead of actually teaching, which is wrong.
You always knew when the teacher was hungover back in the day in school because, the TV would be rolled into the room, like on the big wheeled contraption. Oh, dear.
That's awesome. Yep. But so faff about is just one of those ones that's like, I love that so much.
Yeah, that's a new one.
Faffing around, faffing around. And fannying about. Of course, that's another word that's used differently in the UK and the US, fanny. Because it's your fanny's your backside, isn't it? In US, and in British English, your fanny is your vagina. So
yes, very different.
I didn't know it. I thought it was still your butt. No, I didn't. I did not know that at all.
Wow.
Yep. What you guys call a fanny pack, we call a bum bag.
A bum bag? I didn't know.
But do you put it back here though? If it's your bum?
No, back before shoplifting, back before like there was so much street crime. Probably nowadays you would keep it around front where you can see it.
So you wear your bum bag on front, and then oh my goodness, I'm so confused.
What about sack off? Like, I wanted to ask you about that one because for us to get sacked would be to be fired. Yeah. But to sack off, I'm not quite sure how to use that even because we don't really use it.
No.
I'm going to sack that off. I'm not going to do it. Yeah, I can't be bothered. If you sack something off, then basically you don't do it.
So we would say slack off.
Yeah, we would say slack off.
Slacking off for me is not putting in much effort.
Oh,
slacking.
But slack off for just not doing it at all.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, slacking off, you're still doing it, but you're not. You're not putting in your best effort. Stop slacking. And if you picture like a rope, you know, and it's slack, it's not tight.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because the rope is still there, it hasn't been cut.
Right.
But it's just not as, you know, as taut as it should be.
Yeah,
That's cool.
we can use it that way too, but we can use it all the way to the point of 0. So you can slack off to where you're not doing anything. Or sometimes they'll say, why isn't he here? And she's like, oh, he's slacking off. So he's not even there. But
that's our skiving.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
man.
skiving for you.
It's so interesting how the definition for us, the definition is expanded into skiving, but
But
for
we don't
you,
have a
you
skiving.
have a different word for skiving, or like we could play hooky, but like we would never associate that with one or the other because our definition can be broad enough to encapsulate.
Right.
He's not here.
And it's always changing, right? Like
Yeah,
these are always like in and out. Like if I ask my parents' generation, my grandparents' generation, they're going to have different answers to some of these.
For sure.
That's the thing. Living language.
Yeah, like there's an expression or an adjective that I use all the time. My friends use it all the time, and that's knackered. I'm absolutely knackered. And
Tired, right?
yeah, really, really tired, exhausted. And I did a YouTube video about it, and somebody commented that it was offensive, which not to me and not to anyone I know. So I kind of went to my family. I'm like, what's going on here? And they were like, no. And then mum said, well, your granddad might not have really liked it. So
interesting.
That is so fascinating.
Yeah.
it's become
The
so
closest I
normal
get to
now.
offensive for that is like Knickers. You remember the old term? Yeah.
See, that's not offensive at all in England. Your knickers are just your ladies' underwear, and that's it. Like,
Right.
We
And it's an
wouldn't
old
use
term.
it. Yeah, we wouldn't
Yeah.
use it in America, but I heard it from my grandparents and their parents.
Yeah, and it's usually in a way, don't get your
Knickers.
knickers in a knot.
Knickers in a
Don't
knot.
get your knickers in a knot and all this stuff. It's the connotation, I think, the context in which it's used.
Yeah.
Because it's such an older term, we don't use it anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good one.
we would say in a twist, don't get your knickers in a twist.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very common.
Same. Yes. I love it.
Great. So that was our last phrasal verb. And thank you so much to Amber and Josh for joining me today. So if you guys would like to learn more about how phrasal verbs are used in the US, then definitely check out the playlist. I'll put it in the video description. And if people want to find you, is there any contact info you'd like to share?
Yeah, we have a newsletter that you can probably sign up in the link below too, or you can find us here on YouTube at Why Will Friends English.
Yes. Thank you so much for having us on. It's been a really fun conversation.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for joining me. It's been great. A massive thank you to Amber and Josh for joining me today. And be sure to check out their channel. In fact, we recorded a second video where we talk about different English accents. So make sure you check that out. You can also find the link to their phrasal verbs playlist in the description below. As always, if you liked the video, if you learned something, then please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. And don't forget to ring the notification bell so you don't miss anything. Massive thank you to my channel members for supporting the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.